I work hard every day to make sure that I am walking the life that I need to walk, not to please you, not to please this person, not to please my husband, but to please me and the God that I serve. I work towards being a better person, a better sister, a better boss, a better business owner, a better colleague, a better friend, a better whatever role I have, because we all have tons of roles in our life based on all the various relationships. So it's our responsibility to work on ourselves.
Welcome back to the Balance Boldly podcast for ambitious women in business and a few brave men. I'm your host, Naketa Thigpen, the #1 balance and relationship advisor in the world, and I am here as always showing up fully for you so you can show up fully for yourself and those you love. We want to make sure on this show that all the balance tools and work life and love that you receive are strategically used so you have a good, healthy, robust toolkit that you actually use to move you from that place of surviving burnout, mundane relationships, mediocre relationships that you should have got out of a long time ago. We'll talk about that in a minute. Personally and professionally, imposter syndrome, and all those things that just kind of hold you to this old part of yourself and a narrative that no longer serves you, so you can move into a space where you can thrive in work life and in love. I want you and I need you to have the freedom and flexibility and confidence to do all things that you were designed to do. Because if you can do your job, I can do my job better, and it makes the world a better place. It's called a ripple effect. So we want to make sure that we're doing that here on this show, which is why this season that we are in, and for those of you who have been following, you know I have been waiting patiently for almost 2 years to get to this season. Season 22 that we are in right now as we wrap up the tail end of this year and welcome in 2021 is all about fully living the life that you teach. You can no longer live an Instagram life where you're all about taking pictures of your love and time out with your daughter and humble brag photos of your son washing your car just so someone can see the type of car you have. Those days are over. And if 2020 and a global pandemic has not awakened you to the reality of what no longer matters, so you could welcome in your priorities of really being in balance, admitting what you truly want and creating boundaries for it, I really don't know what to tell you. You might need to listen to those other 112 episodes that came before this one. And I say that with love because we just have no time for any more games as we walk into our destinies. And I say our because it is our destinies. I can get to where I'm going so much faster and have so much fun along the way if you are coming with me. And I want you to come with me. So I pray that this episode gives you everything that you needed and really puts a cap on those things that just shouldn't be growing and bubbling up anymore. I hope you guys are following me with that. Which is why I am excited to have my new good girlfriend on this show today. Okay? Like, listen, we're about to have a very quick, raw, deep dive. We might even get a little dirty on this show today. You hear her laughing because she like, listen, we're about to talk about it. We were having so much fun talk about it. We were like, oh, I guess we should record this, huh? I want you to welcome with me Gracie Jones. She is a force to be reckoned with in multiple areas of her life, but specifically well known in the event planning realm. Gracie has been featured on popular shows like Philly, Fox 29, as well as various blogs and interviews by several media outlets. She is a woman who is doing her thing because she is passionate and goal driven about serving in excellence in each and every aspect of her business and in her life. Gracie, welcome to the Balance Bully podcast. How are you today?
I am doing awesome, and I'm so super excited that you invited me to be a part of this themes, this subject that you're focusing on. So thank you so much, Naketa, for having me.
You know, I'm excited. You know, I was laughing so hard, as you know, because we really, like listeners, we really were having a good conversation. It was like, oh, Lord. So we're actually transitioning that conversation over to here. But first, I want to make sure that Gracie gives you a little bit more insight into how she shows up in the world for her clients and her family.
Oh my goodness. So I have been a worker bee since the age of 15, full-time jobs always. I put myself through college by working multiple jobs. So you can call me the Jamaican girl with so many jobs. I'm not a lazy bum. But at some point in time, Naketa, it got to the point where my head was buried so deep in the sand. And I looked up one day and realized girlfriend's getting old. And
Mm.
I'm still single, still no children. So I had to create some new habits for myself that was more disciplined around still being devoted to my career and my jobs, while also allow myself to smell the flowers, to smell the roses and enjoy life. Because when that time came for me to be blessed to have that significant other person in my life, I needed to be able to balance work life and family time. And so getting married, I already had the right practices in place because I was smart enough to realize my flaws early on.
Yeah, that makes a major difference when you're willing to do the self work first,
Yeah.
right? And I get it, right? Some people find out later and they're like, well, I'm already married. I already got the kids and the dog and the cat and everything. So now what? It's never too late. It's just a little bit more complicated.
Self development is important, and it's important for people to understand that and embrace it. There's always, always, always room for improvement. No perfect person exists because if you do, you'll be in heaven with our Father.
Or dead, because
But
then you can't make no more mistakes.
there you go. There's no purpose for you to be here. We exist. If you're religious in any way, you will understand that we exist for a reason. God selfishly wanted us to see his work, his power, his ability to contribute to a good lifestyle and to help us through the bad times and stuff. So if we're perfect, there's no reason for us to exist here anymore. We belong with him in heaven. So no, self development is very, very important. You always need to work on your craft. You always need to work on improving, and that is professionally, whether you own a business or not, you work for someone, as well as spiritually. Um, you as an individual with your personality and your character, if you're a person who is always dating the wrong people, think about that. Take a step back. Who are the guys that I'm dating? And
Hmm.
if you find yourself gravitating to the same type of people that are just not working out for you, then there might be something you need to look at in yourself.
Absolutely.
Say, what am I doing in my life that is attracting this audience? Whether it's friends, guys, or people that you're dating, what is it that I'm doing? Same thing with work. What is it that I'm doing that's constantly keep putting me in these uncomfortable situations where I'm getting fired or where I'm always threatened to lose my job and I'm criticized and everybody views me? It's perception, right?
Hmm.
All about
Absolutely.
perception. Is all about how people perceive you. So what do you need to do? You need to take a look at yourself
Mm.
and see how you can improve in that. And if you want more and better for yourself, then guess what? You need to develop that. Nobody's giving you nothing on the silver platter.
Exactly. Exactly. Not without actually a high ticket associated with it, right?
Oh yes. Oh
Right?
yes.
Like that's that, oh, now you're gonna owe me a favor for life.
That's right. You better answer every time I call. You better
Hmm.
open that door every time I knock.
Hmm.
Better not say no to whatever I need.
Absolutely. Which is a whole nother.
Yeah, that's no different than having to deal with the devil.
Hmm. Like I was literally having that picture in my head. Like it feels like you would have sold your soul to someone because now they have taken away a piece of your freedom. You feel obligated,
Yep.
partially because they're making you feel that way, and maybe even reminding you of whatever that big ticket favor was,
Right.
that silver platter thing that they gave you at that time, and you were feeling so desperate that you needed to take it. You took that friendship. You took that as the person that you're supposed to be with. You took that as this client. I mean, we could talk about that, like taking on
Oh, yeah.
clients that you shouldn't take on, and
That's
you
right.
know it. You knew they was wrong
Right.
before you hung up the phone or the Zoom or whatever it is.
That's right.
But you looked at your portfolio, your bank account, something and said, well, you know what? I really need to fill this month. And we took it, and they were like the worst experience ever.
Absolutely. And that's why you need to be true to your brand when it comes down to business,
Mm-hmm.
whether you are employed or an entrepreneur. Again, you need to be true. Well, if you're employed, that's a little bit different because you have
Right.
to answer to. But as a entrepreneur, you need to be true to your brand. Don't cheapen yourself just to get that deal,
Yeah.
because in the long run, it's not worth it. Those pain in the butt clients, they're going to consume so much of your time that, as in a reality, you're going to be making less money with all that attention that they need. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
make less money in the long run. Instead of you getting paid, let's just say you get paid an $70 or $100 an hour for your services, and you have a timeline of the project being 3 months. And if that person is being difficult and you have to chase them down and they're delaying things or they're changing things up, you might be actually making $20 an hour
Exactly. Exactly.
to the $100 because you're putting in so many more hours with them. So be true to your brand. And if you don't get right vibes about a client, that's my model with my company, by the way, I should let you know.
Mm-hmm.
And my contracts, there's some language that says we have to write in so many words, we have the right to fire you as a client, and you
Absolutely.
can fire us. If we see that there's an issue here and you're impacting the quality of our performance for you, because this is our reputation,
Mm-hmm.
then we try to reconcile it. And if the client is not able to be reconciled with and reasoned with, then the next best thing is to walk away from it.
Mm-hmm.
If we
Mm-hmm.
owe you nothing, you owe us nothing.
Exactly. And you know what was really extra is what popped in my head is someone said recently about how conflicted they are when a friend becomes a client or a client turns into a friend, and
Right.
then they have to get to that space, right? So when if everybody's respecting boundaries and everybody's doing their thing, it's all good. It's peachy
Yeah.
keen. I put you through the same. You click here, set up your payment, automatic drafts for the next X number of months. You sign the contract. We welcome you on onboarding, and everything is peachy keen. We deliver high quality service, and amen.
Right.
But when there is a kink in that chain, and there has either it was a friendship prior to the kink before the chain got started professionally, or a friendship developed out of that,
Right.
the contract saves so much of your
It does.
integrity.
It really
But
does.
there are people, and I'm sure you know them too, and maybe even 20 years ago in a pre I got into a good flow hat, when you didn't do the contract because they were a girlfriend,
Yeah.
or became a friend, and maybe you didn't do the renewal contract. It was, we started with a contract. Technically, that one ended because it was only, let's say, 6 months. But now, 2 years later, we've still been doing it, and it's been so informal. Even though you're showing up fully for them,
Yeah.
from a work perspective, you just didn't put them through the normal flow to protect yourself. Well, now, 2 years later, when girlfriend, guy friend, brother, sister, whatever you want to call them, is going through whatever they're going through, there's a scarcity mindset, something went wrong. Heck, maybe you did something wrong. Who knows? And it goes really left. That contract that you did not renew or sign or put in place in the first place
That's right.
doesn't cover you, and you have nothing to stand
You
on.
have to always protect your business.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And it's tough. I have people in my life that, as friends in the friend
Yeah.
category, that I would never
Mm-hmm.
want
Mm-hmm.
hired to do
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we always go straight to that. Marketing teaches us to tap into our own existing network when we start a business. Go to your family, go to your friends, get the support from them so that you can get your business up and going.
Mm-hmm.
It's all well and good, but you have to be selective with that group
Yeah.
you're going to work with, because they will nickel and dime you. They will take advantage of the dynamics of your relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
even after 8 years, I have almost 30 years of experience in the field, and I've been in business with my event planning business for 8 years. And even to this day, I have people that I would refuse to be hired by to do it,
Yeah.
because I already know some of their flaws and
Mm-hmm.
characteristics. I may accept those flaws in my
Mm-hmm.
personal life on a friendship level,
Right.
but on a professional level, they don't understand me taking the friendship hat off and putting my
You're
business
expert.
hat, yes, my
Yeah.
expert hat on. They don't understand that concept. So for me to go down that road and having them as a client is a very dangerous space to be for our friendship. So whether they understand it or not, I'm protecting the friendship.
Yeah.
Feel as though the friendship is more of value to me than the business I would get from them. That would be a nightmare of a situation and can jeopardize my brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my
Absolutely.
husband gave me, he has this theory where he feels as though doing business with friends is bad altogether. I don't
Mhm.
feel that way 100%, as I already indicated. There are certain
Yeah.
people I won't deal with, but there's others that I feel as though I can manage with.
I agree with the latter.
Yep. And
Hmm.
so his attitude is because he fear the risk that it would take on the burden that it would take on the friendship. And then also he had a little bit of experience himself. So he shares this example with me. He has a friend, childhood friend that he grew up with that his father was an entrepreneur. He automatically, naturally became an entrepreneur of himself and still to this day very successful. So there was an incident where a property that him and his mother, my husband and his mother owned together, and they got his friend to help out with this
Hmm.
construction work for the property. And he says, my mom, screwed him over. And I said, how so? And when every time he mentions that story, I was like, okay, what did she do? How did she screw him over? I'm thinking she screwed him over with the money,
Hmm. Hmm.
criticized him, gave him a bad review, bad mouthed him, or something like that. So that's what I'm thinking in my head. And he goes on to tell me how she insisted on having the information in a quote form. She wanted a contract and she wanted to know if there was any warranty on the services. I said, you honestly think that was screwing him over? I said,
Mm-mm.
isn't he a businessman?
Exactly.
And he goes, yeah. I said, well, don't he own his own business? And he says, yes. I said, how the hell in the world do you think she
Hmm.
screwed him over?
Absolutely.
If she was a stranger
Hmm.
and he was offering his services to her, wouldn't he give her a quote? Wouldn't he give her a contract?
Exactly.
And wouldn't it be okay for
Hmm.
her to say, is there a warranty? And he says yes
Absolutely.
or no. And he says, well, yeah, but he just seems so agitated. I said, but then something's wrong with him.
Mm-mm.
You,
And I agree. Like there was something out of sorts with his mindset
yeah,
around what he thought. Now I'm gonna give the angelic advocate, right? Instead of the devil's advocate, the angelic advocate side. Now, if Mama in Love wanted that service for free or for like 90% discount
well,
of what his normal rate would be, I could see him being irritated. Like, wait a minute, you want
I
me to do all
understand that. I understand that. That falls in the category of her screwing him over.
right? Absolutely.
But there was no, when you hear the story, the way I heard it, there was no issues about her
Hmm.
agreeing to the cost. And
Right.
he did give a discount, by the way.
Hmm.
Offered
Hmm.
a discount, but she wasn't trying to nickel and dime him. She wasn't trying to do any of those things. She asked for, and I kept telling him every time he told me the story, I said, tell me again why. And
I know
once
your accent was overkill. Like,
and
listen.
finally I had to put a stop to it. I said, something's wrong with your friend. But
Hmm.
feeling uncomfortable because his the way he interpreted to me was he felt offended because
Hmm.
his attitude was, I am your friend. Do you think I'm gonna screw you over? Do you think I'm not gonna do a well job? But that's not the point.
Hmm.
You're also a professional.
Yeah.
So if you had a stranger doing this, you wouldn't have a problem. So why should you treat a friend any less?
I think you hit the nail on the head with that. The way we view and the way we want to be viewed. If you want to be viewed and respected by everybody, as a professional, because you feel like you've worked hard, you've earned that, you've already gone through the trenches, then you can't view someone viewing you that way as a problem when it's convenient for you to view it as a problem. So if I say, because I'm like your husband in some aspects where I'm very careful about family, friends, and those that are connected to them when they're referred in. They're actually, I vet them the same way. Now, it might be a little bit more informal. I might have some wine at that consultation instead of my tea, right? Like, for somebody I don't know, I'm showing up with my herbal tea. For somebody who's a friend, we might be doing it at 5:30, and it might be a red glass situation, whatever. Like, it might be a little bit more informal, a little bit longer because we're catching up and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm always really clear, like, let's switch hats. Let me ask you, my normal questions. Why now? What's going on? What are your pain points? All the ways that we would normally flush through a clarity or discovery call to see if they're qualified. 90% of the people who are connected to me that come in, whether they volunteered and said, hey, Key, I need your help, or whatever the case is, 90% of them, I refer them to other people in my network.
That's what I was going to say to you. Because by you taking the proper steps as you would professionally, regardless of your relationship with that person, by you taking the professional steps that you normally do by qualifying them for your services, you are also able to not only determine what their needs are and if you're able to do it or need to refer them to someone, but you're also pre-qualifying them on a personal level. Do I really want to risk this relationship with this person by taking them on as a client, or do I want to refer them to someone else just for the sake of saving my relationship with them?
And knowing yourself, right? Like, your work out, and how you get when you're in workflow excellence mode. And sister girl who you love, who you respect, who is dope at what she does in her professional life might not be able to handle the Naketa that shows up when I had one of my clients save me in her phone as the gavel. Like, the gavel's calling, right? Like, because I'm going to hold you accountable to that which you have asked me to do according to the strategic plan that you're paying me to help you create in your life and in your business. So listen,
let me tell you something.
I get a nerve with that
one now. Sister girl, I remember now, in my years of profession, I spent 10 of them in the pharmaceutical world, doing exactly what I do, almost exactly what I do for my clients. I did it in the pharmaceutical world. And I remember one of my outside sources, my business associate, saying, "Who, Gracie, you're tough." She says, "But I got to say, you're very fair." And she says, "That I respect and that I admire, because I am a no nonsense person. I'm all about the end product. And I'm all about us all looking good, but we can't all look good if I'm being passive aggressive with this person and passive aggressive with that person, but hard knocks with this person. No, I'm going to treat you all the same. If you're producing what I asked you to produce, or in executing it the right way, or super exceeding my expectation, then we're good. And if I got to repeat myself 20 times before you to comprehend what I'm asking of you, and you still don't produce what is expected of you, then we have a problem." And I'm gonna let you know that, and I might have to let you know by letting you go, taking you off the project, getting someone else, because guess what? It's my project, and that's my reputation. It's my obligation and my responsibility to whoever that authority is, whether it was my boss, whether it's for my business today. It's my obligation and my commitment to provide excellence to my customers and my clients. And I did that even before I became a business owner. So if you're not producing, then you're the weak link. I got to let you go.
Right.
And it's all about the way you deliver it. You don't have to, just because you and I are similar personalities where we lay down that hammer and stuff, we can be assertive, but we can be that way in a respectful way.
Always.
Light, kind, and nice. Now, if you come out your face, then I got to come out my face.
That's why I told y'all she's my good girlfriend. Okay? Listen,
I'm going to react the way you react. You get crazy, I'm going to say crazy just met crazy.
you in the morning, serve you all day, and we'll cut you at the night. Don't play. Listen, don't show your behind and think that you won't get pushed down
But
the
all jokes aside, I try to be the better person at all times. I work hard every day to make sure that I am walking the life that I need to walk, not to please you, not to please this person, not to please my husband, but to please me and the God that I serve. I work towards being a better person, a better sister, a better boss, a better business owner, a better colleague, a better friend, a better whatever role I have, because we all have tons of roles in our life based on all
Mhm.
the various relationships. So it's our responsibility to work on ourselves.
Woo, child, you done hit some nerves. And clearly, we're going to have a part two for this because we didn't even get into the boundaries and flipping it. We didn't even get as dirty as we want to get. So we will. So Gracie and I are promising a part two. And
Absolutely.
we are going to continue this conversation. So this is going to be, stay tuned for that, my love. Stay tuned. I have to ask you before we close out this part, how do you give yourself permission to pause?
Maybe not everyone likes this term, but I consider myself a spa whore.
Mhm. Listen, I call myself a research whore, so there we go. Research and then go to the spa. Okay.
So
No.
my idea of relaxing, when I have a big project, the bigger the project, the more I invest in myself. As you know, in my world, most events require 12 months planning in advance, maybe longer. And it comes with a lot of intensity, pressure, stress. The stress level depends on how you navigate yourself through the process. But I normally treat myself, especially if I'm traveling to an appointment at the spa of the hotel that we're at. If I'm not in that situation, and with today's time in the COVID world, I have to train myself a couple of things. So, because of COVID, I start my day off with meditation, prayers, stretching, and exercising. It puts me in a better mindset. If my body is healthy, my mind is healthy, and I know how to communicate properly, how to give my best self to people at all times on all levels. And just pausing. I make sure that I have my time. Sorry about that. I make sure I have my time blocked out for me and my husband. And we go for walks, and we have a weekly day or night date with each other. So making sure you make that effort, that conscious effort to look out for your own sanity.
Right. I call it being selfish.
Being
I'm selfish so that I can give and overgive in the bedroom and the boardroom. So if you want me to show up fully, listen. You better hope I was selfish the night before. That's all I'm gonna say.
chandeliers out. Yeah, they're strong.
Exactly. All day. All day. I love you so much. How can people connect with you and learn more about the amazing virtual and in-person events that you are creating these experiences for, both corporately and for those entrepreneurs and trade associations and all those good people you work with?
Oh, thank you. I would love for people to get in touch with me. The best way to get in touch with me is contacting my team at info@opulentevents.gracie.com. Another way is our website. Even though the company is called Opulent Events by Gracie, the website is gracie-events.com. Please go check out our website, see if there's anything there that we can be of assistance with you, or for you with, and get in touch with us. We are welcoming entrepreneurs for expert interviews, and we want to get back to the business community to help get this economy pointing in the right direction a little sooner rather than later. We don't need to sit and wait for the government to tell us when we have the green light. Let's make it happen ourselves.
I know that's right. We are the people we've been waiting for to make this difference. Absolutely. You are amazing. Gracie, thank you for showing up, showing out, and being here fully as the person you are every single day in your personal and your professional life. It's why I have learned to so adore you on so many levels.
Oh, Naketa, thank
Listen,
you.
it's why we're going to be doing a part 2 so we can be tearing things up again. And
There you go. Bring it.
You are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Balance Boldly listeners, I promised and I delivered. And that was just a teaser, because when I tell you the stuff that we were going in on, the personal, the boundary crossing, the coming back from those boundaries, all of that stuff, that we will definitely be making sure that we encourage you with some stories, some realities, some fails, and some successes, in how to handle those conversations, because they are crucial to your success as a woman in business or a brave man who really wants to go to the next level. Gracie and I will definitely come back and do that very, very soon. I'm thinking that this will be like a top of the year episode to really like have you guys go into 2021 with extra opulence and excellence so we can follow that. So thank you for being here. We honor your time as always. If you are not already a subscriber, make sure that you do that. Subscribe so you get those notifications. Rate it and review it so everyone, including iTunes World and all those people, can see us coming to the top of the feed, and we can maintain our space or higher as the number 8 out of the top 35 women in business podcasts to follow. Make sure that you help us continue to be there. I'm so grateful we are already there. And we want to just keep climbing and going so we can get in front of more people. And obviously share it. These valuable work, life, and love balance tools with those other ambitiously bold and brave men and women out there that need this. Make sure you share it with your friend. You don't have to say anything but listen to this and give them the link to one of your favorite episodes. I appreciate you. In the interim, I want you to go create your balance and create your joy, but remember, do it boldly.